more posterior lateral direction, all right, because the pelvis, that's very important now. How is the pelvis situated? Tina, put the pelvis in its correct position. Right, very good. So the pelvis is like that. So there's a lady who came to me after the lecture. She might be sitting in here, and she asked me, how is the urogenital diaphragm situated? And I pointed out, the urogenital diaphragm is in a what type of position? In a horizontal position. All right. So the urogenital diaphragm is in a horizontal position. So the urethra has just hold it like that. Alright? So the urethra has just crossed over what? The sacroiliac joint, and is now going to be directed posterior laterally, traveling to where? To the ischial spine. So you're going to look for it along going to the ischial spine. And as it's coursing towards the ischial spine, it runs along the anterior border of the greater sciatic notch. Okay? So it's running along the what? The anterior border of the greater sciatic notch to the ischial spine. After that, now, how is its direction? Anteromedially. So it's now going to be going anteromedially. Okay? So it's descending inferior medially, crossing the what? The sacroiliac joint. And then now, after that, going more posterior laterally along, traveling on the lateral pelvic wall towards the ischial spine. And as it's traveling towards the ischial spine, it's traveling right along the anterior border of the greater sciatic notch. Thereafter that, it now turns what? Anteromedially, heading towards the what? The trigone of the bladder. Okay. Now, what are the relations in the abdomen of the urethra? What are the relations of the urethra? You saw what the relations of the urethra in the abdomen. Now, male and female. Male and female, Sartina, male and female, are they roughly the same in the abdomen? Yeah, the same. If we use the word gonadal vessels, all right? So talk to me a little about the course in the abdomen. Okay, so it's traveling anterior to the psoas and crosses over. Yeah, the genitofemoral nerve. So constant posterior relation is the genitofemoral nerve. So it's thought, in fact, in ureteric stones that a ureteric stone passing down will what? Irritate the genitofemoral nerve. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why sometimes we get this pain, we say, from loin to where? Groin. From loin to groin. Okay? Alright, so on both sides it's lying on the psoas, so it's traveling down on the psoas and it's crossing the genitofemoral nerve. Okay, let's deal with it now on the right side. What are the relations now on the right side of the urethra? Okay, on the right side, what are the anterior relations on the right side? Before that, long before that.
The right column?
Long before that. Long before that. The duodenum, isn't that so? The duodenum. Because the duodenum is now what? Anterior relation, okay? So you see the second part of the duodenum is what? Just anterior to the what? To the hilus of the kidney, isn't that so? So the second part of the duodenum overlaps here, and the third part. So sometimes say that both second and third part are in relation. Alright, after that. What form anterior relations? Well, you said it, the gonadal vessels, alright, the gonadal vessels, or the gonadal artery is going to cross right over and give a blood supply. Okay? Now, what vertebral level are the gonadal arteries coming at? Shakira.
Between L2 and
What level? Between what? Sartina, between L2 and L3. Right? The gonadal vessels. What else is anterior relation? The iliocolic artery. Okay? Alright, so the right colic and the iliocolic artery are also going to form anterior relations. These are traveling what? Retroperitoneally. Okay, so retroperitoneally. On the left side, primarily just the what? The gonadal vessels. Okay? Alright. The left colic gives also a branch that goes over it. Okay. Now, when it gets into the pelvis, okay, when it crosses over, MCQ, when it crosses over, what is it in relation to?
The over of the
No man, long before that, Tina.
The bifurcation. The common eye.
So it usually crosses over the external iliac. It did not cross over the external iliac, it will cross over the what? The common iliac. Move that one across the screen. Here, right here. So this is the male right here. By the way, this is a specimen that I was demonstrating for the lecture. Alright, that's the one. I'll show you the Alright, so there we see it right here. So that's the male. Alright? So, sorry. So we see now that the urethra is going to be entering into the pelvis. Now, you see, on this case here, it's an interesting case here, because what we notice that this common iliac is very what? Short. You know, that common iliac is very short. This is a very long one. So it usually, as you see on this side, is roughly crossing over the what? The external iliac. So if it doesn't cross the common iliac, it will cross the external iliac. Then now, it travels on the lateral pelvic wall. And the vessels are all what? Lateral to it. So it travels, it's going to travel, crossing over the external iliac, it will then cross in relation to this vessel. Who is that vessel to you? So that is the internal iliac. Okay? So it travels anteriorly and medially to the internal iliac, and will be a medial relation of all the major vessels. So medial relation to what? Things like what, you know?
Superior vessel.
Like the vesical arteries, okay, the internal pudendal. So all the vessels, all the branches of the internal iliac is going to be a medial relation. As it courses now, it comes in its most important relation is to this. And that is the what? This. Who is this? The vas. Okay? So it's going to be what? In relation to the vas. Alright? It's in relation to the vas. And it goes like this. Alright? So it crosses the vas difference, as we can see right here, MCQ. The vas crosses the urethra from, let's show you, the vas is crossing, see there, Steve? The vas is crossing the what? Urethra from what? From lateral to medial and on its anterior aspect. See that happening? The vas is crossing the urethra from lateral to medial, just like that, on its anterior aspect. Okay? Entering right into the urinary bladder. In the female, let's just find it in the female right here. In the female, the same thing happens. Alright? So that's the urethra in the female there. Right here. So that's the female. Urethra here. The urethra is going to be crossed by what? The uterine artery. Okay? So the uterine artery, that's the uterus right there. So the uterine artery. And this is the problem right here. So the uterine artery is going to be crossed. So the urethra now crosses, the urethra is crossed by the uterine artery exactly like that, from lateral to medial. So this is the important thing, because you'll see that there sometimes a woman goes for hysterectomy, and sometimes there's damage to the what? To the urethra. Alright, why? You can't blame the poor guy sometimes, because the urethra is what? Just filled and covered by what? Just literally hundreds of veins. Alright? So sometimes in the hysterectomy, sadly, there's no urine being produced after. That's a sad story, because the urethra might have been accidentally cut. No, that crossing occurs where? The crossing, where does the crossing of the, where does the uterine artery cross the urethra from lateral to medial? So we need to know that 2.5 centimeters lateral to the supravaginal portion of the cervix. So the urethra is crossed by the uterine artery where 2.5 centimeters lateral to the supravaginal portion. The urethra in the female forms a relation to, forms part of the ovarian fossa. Elaborate on that, Keith.
Ovarian fossa.
okay? Yeah, like post-urulation, okay? So it's going to be traveling, all right? Anteriorly will be what vessel? Will be the external iliac. So you find the external iliac and the internal iliac. And then urethra is just coursing in relation to the what? To the internal iliac. What structure is crossing in the floor of that ovarian fossa? Very important. What structure is there? The obturator nerve, isn't that so? So when a lady gets what? Ovarian cyst, what they call it? Ovarian cyst, it will what? Many times will be irritating the obturator nerve. Alright. Now you look tired.
Yes.
Walk up to a lead start. And then we have something as well missing today. Alright. So tomorrow, on Friday, we're going to come back to deal with it and get back in the urethra again. But we want to deal primarily with what? Female reproductive system.